Meta could pay up to $18 billion over the next 10 years, but will that actually protect our kids? Welcome to Friday Night Radio, a space for reflection where we slow down and think beyond the surface. Meta could pay up to $18 billion over the next 10 years to settle lawsuits brought by 47 states and Washington, D.C., over claims that Facebook and Instagram harmed children and teenagers. The states allege that Meta designed Facebook and Instagram to keep children and teenagers hooked, encouraging excessive use and contributing to problems with their mental health, including anxiety, depression, and other harms. How did the design allegedly keep kids hooked? One of the central allegations was that Facebook and Instagram were deliberately designed to keep young users engaged for as long as possible. And this wasn't just about the content itself, it was about the way the apps were designed. Think about infinite scrolling. You finish one post and there's no natural stopping point. You simply keep scrolling and another post appears, then another and another. The states argued that features like infinite scrolling, push notifications, and personalized recommendations were designed to maximize the amount of time children spent on the platforms. So for a child, the question isn't just, do I want to look at Instagram? The app is continually giving them another reason to stay. But keeping children scrolling isn't only about infinite scrolling. The next part is the algorithm, the system deciding what you see next. When you use Instagram, you don't simply see posts in the order they were uploaded. The platform uses information about your activity, what you watch, what you like, what you interact with, to personalize what appears in your feed. The states alleged that this recommendation system could keep young users engaged by continually showing them content that was likely to hold their attention. And this is where it gets more concerning. A child may start by watching something completely harmless, but the system keeps learning what keeps that child watching and then serves more of it. So the allegation was not simply that children were choosing to spend too much time on social media. It was that the platform itself was designed to continually predict what would keep them engaged. Then there are push notifications. You may be doing something completely different, having dinner, doing homework, or getting ready for bed, when your phone suddenly lights up with a notification from Instagram. A new like. Someone commented. Someone posted something. Or there's something the app thinks you might want to see. The states alleged that Meta used push notifications as part of a broader design to keep young users engaged and coming back to its platforms. Another part of the allegations involves something very human, the need for approval. On social media, a teenager can post a photo, a video, or a comment, and then wait to see how other people react. Likes, comments, followers, and reactions can become a form of social validation. The states allege that Meta designed features around young people's desire for validation and social comparison, encouraging them to keep checking and engaging with the platform. For a teenager, that can create a cycle. Post something, check the reaction, compare yourself with others, and then come back again to see what happens next. So how can social validation actually harm a teenager? Imagine a teenager constantly seeing how many likes, followers, or comments other people are getting. They can start comparing their appearance, popularity, and lifestyle with everyone around them. The states allege that Meta knew this kind of social comparison could negatively affect young people's mental health, including their self-esteem, anxiety, and feelings of insecurity. And for some teenagers, the pressure can become, am I getting enough likes? Why does she have more followers than me? Why doesn't my photo get the same reaction? This brings us to one of the most serious parts of the allegations. What did Meta know about these effects? The states allege that Meta had its own research showing that Instagram could negatively affect young users, including problems involving social comparison, body image, and mental health. The lawsuit argued that Meta knew about these risks, yet continued operating features that were designed to keep young users engaged. That is a much bigger question than whether Instagram itself is good or bad for teenagers. If a company knows that certain features may be causing harm, what responsibility does it have to change them? There was another concern: what children might see on these platforms. The states allege that children could be exposed to harmful content, including material about self-harm, eating disorders, and other dangerous behavior. And once a teenager starts watching or interacting with this type of content, the algorithm may recommend more similar content. So a child could start with one video or post and then find themselves seeing more and more of the same type of material. The states also raised concerns about children interacting with adults who might try to exploit or harm them. And last but not least, there's another allegation that has nothing to do with scrolling or addiction: children's personal information. The states allege that Meta collected personal information from children under 13 without getting the required permission from their parents. This matters because personal information can include things like a child's name, email address, location, or information about how they use the platform. U.S. law requires companies to get parental consent before collecting certain personal information from children under 13. The states allege that Meta did not do enough to prevent children under 13 from using its platforms and providing their information. So, after all these allegations, what has Meta actually agreed to change? Let's look at the protective measures for children, point by point. Point 1. A 2-hour daily limit. Under the settlement, users under 18 will have a default limit of 2 hours a day across Facebook and Instagram. Once that 2 hours is reached, access is restricted for the rest of the day, unless a parent gives permission to continue. Point 2. Nighttime blocks. Meta will block users under 18 from using Facebook and Instagram between midnight and 6 a.m. During these hours, teens won't be able to post or view their feed, stories, explore, or reels. There is also a wider overnight period, from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., when most push notifications will be turned off for teens, apart from notifications related to safety or device security. The idea is simple: keep social media activity out of the middle of the night and reduce notifications that could pull teenagers back to their phones. Point 3. Limit school time access. Meta will mute most notifications for teens between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., covering typical school hours. There are exceptions for direct messages and important account safety or security alerts. The aim is to stop Instagram and Facebook notifications from interrupting teenagers while they are at school. Point 4. Stronger age verification. Meta will introduce stronger age-checking measures to determine whether a user is under 18. The system will use age assurance technology, including tools such as AI and third-party services, to identify users' ages. Meta will also have to prevent users under 13 from accessing Facebook and Instagram. An independent auditor will monitor compliance. Point 5. Hiding likes and reaction counts. Under the settlement, teenagers will no longer see the number of likes and reactions on posts by default. This applies to their own posts as well as posts from other people. The idea is to reduce the pressure around how many likes a teenager gets and how their numbers compare with other people. Point 6. Stronger parental controls. Parents will get more tools to supervise their teenagers' use of Facebook and Instagram. These controls can help parents manage things such as how much time their child spends on the platforms and when the child can use them. The goal is to give parents more control over their child's social media use, rather than leaving all of the settings to the teenager. Point 7. More restrictions on harmful content. Meta will strengthen its systems to limit teenagers' exposure to content that is inappropriate for their age, including material involving bullying, suicide, self-harm, and eating disorders. Point 8. Option for a non-personalized feed. Normally, Meta's recommendation system decides which posts, videos, and reels to show a user based on their activity. Under the settlement, teens will be able to choose a feed that isn't personalized by that recommendation system. Instead, the feed will show posts in chronological order, with newer posts appearing first. This gives teenagers a way to see what was actually posted most recently, rather than having the algorithm decide what they should see next. So those are the changes Meta has agreed to make. But there's still a big question. What happens to the billions of dollars Meta is paying? Where does that money go, and how is it supposed to help protect children? The money will go to the states and can be used for programs that support young people, including mental health services, crisis intervention, after-school and summer activities such as sports and dance, outdoor activities, digital wellness education, and programs that help children develop healthier relationships with technology. But Meta is also calling on other platforms, including TikTok and YouTube, to adopt similar protections for teenagers. In fact, part of Meta's $18 billion settlement depends on those platforms taking similar steps and contributing to the settlement. For parents, hopefully this settlement brings some relief. Knowing that stronger limits, better age checks, and more protection from harmful content are being put in place, hopefully these measures will make social media safer for our children. Wherever you are tonight, take it slow. This is Friday Night Radio.